Hey, video guys, we're on. Beautiful. My name is Paul Calamere. This is
Jean-Louis Filion.
That's right, Jean-Louis Filio, and we are absolutely coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. I'm in the studios of 4680Q on a snowy day. John, we got some snow.
La neige plaît belle aujourd'hui.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful day out. I mean, we're talking February here, and the weather has been fantastic in Niagara Falls. If you're not here, you should get here, check out the falls, see what's going on. You're gonna love it in Niagara Falls, and we do get HAB games here.
We do.
We get HAB games in Niagara Falls.
And last night there was a bit of a smackwater game.
Well, you know what? I lasted through two periods. It started at 10:30. I saw the second. It was 2-2. And I said,
good night.
I don't want to see the third. I'm going to bed. And when I woke up, I had a beautiful, beautiful surprise.
Une surprise.
Yes, a nice surprise. It wasn't that. What it was is that Habs won the game 4-3.
Yeah, it was great.
So maybe I shouldn't watch all the game. That's the secret. Maybe we're into suspicious behavior and superstition. Shouldn't watch the game. And I call that week, the week we had here, not a great week for the Habs. It was the reverse meatloaf.
A reverse meatloaf. That's when you put the sauce on the bottom.
That's when you win one game out of three. 2 out of 3 ain't bad when you win. 1 out of 3 is the reverse meatloaf. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to ask Vince Hudon. He knows.
I don't know.
And we played against teams I thought we were going to beat. Because last week we looked at it and we said, I thought the Wild we might have a little bit of trouble with, and we had lots of trouble with them.
That was a spectacular game.
Yeah, it was. We'll talk about that. But I figure we beat the Wild and the Ducks and the Sharks. Come on.
Well, we beat the Sharks.
Yeah, we beat the Sharks. The Ducks disappointed me.
We beat the Ducks in the first period.
Well, that was good. That's nice, but the game's 60 minutes long.
Oh well, somebody better inform a few people.
Yeah, they better tell them. Hey guys,
wake up!
Come on, the game's 60 minutes long. What's the matter with you? You didn't know that after being a professional hockey player?
Le premier period.
So, it was disappointing, and you know what? It really put a little bit of a damper on our playoff hopes here. And we'll talk about that later. But, right now we have like 29 games left, and every game is really important. We talk about the games that are divisional games and conference games, but right now every game is important. And the Ducks and the Sharks are two teams that most people that we're looking for a playoff position against are going to walk in and beat these teams, and we didn't. So, we have to really, really look at this. And I did some calculations.
Tous les matchs est très important.
Yeah, it is. And they are. And, I did some calculations, and we'll talk about that later on too. But I'll give you what we need.
A lot to look forward to.
Oh, we got lots to look forward to in this show. We have. And yeah. So
it's like a close to the edge, it's like a Yes song. I get up, I get down. I get up, I get down. And the Habs are going up and down.
Yeah, they are. And, we talked about peaking. Last week I talked about, or a couple weeks anyway, shows ago, we
You're
talked
going
about
to
peaking.
You took a trip to Peking?
Peking, yeah, I'm peaking. Ah, yes, Jason. Yes, Jason. But I talked about peaking, when a lot of teams peak, and they peak too early. January, they start peaking in February, and then it's over, and they don't have enough left for the playoffs. And I didn't think that was happening to the Habs when we were winning, because the way I looked at it was, our players are so new. We have such a young team that we are going to see that peak. And it could be any time in the season, only because they're getting better all the time. And some of the players, like you say, John, haven't hit their ceiling.
Still trying to achieve their potential.
Right, exactly. So when I saw them going in December and January, the lucky 11 teams that we played, and beating these top teams, I'm thinking, we're not really peaking. All we're doing is we're having our players step up and play the kind of game they can play, and then NSL is figured it out. So I really didn't worry about that theory I have about teams peaking too early. And then we see them come back and lose 5 in a row, and they won last night. And this is just the sign of a young team.
And as well, there's a bit of fatigue. I mean, they're getting a little tired. We've done a lot of stretches over the last 2-3 weeks where we're playing back-to-back games, which we're doing tonight. Like from last night, another 2 games in a row.
We got one on the weekend.
We got one on the weekend, but then we have a 2-week break, as does the whole NHL.
So, with that, to me, that just means is that, you know what, we got a young team. We're looking for a little bit more consistency. That's what we'd like to see, and we know that. I mean,
and the team continues to get younger.
It does.
It
does.
We just added 2 guys from the AHL to the team.
Yeah, Beck and Strub. What did they bring up? Strub.
They brought up Mailloux and Beck.
Did Mailloux come up too? Did he play last night?
Mailloux. No, he sat in the press box. But
yeah, I was going to say. Team. Yeah, they brought him up, but I didn't see him on the ice. But this is we're talking about peaking, and maybe we should be talking about patience. I was going to be a doctor, but I didn't have the patience.
Well, you could be a doctor now because there's lots of patients with no doctors here in Canada.
I probably could be. I can do as good as some of these hacks, I'll tell you that. But at the end of the day, we just got to have patience. This is the sign of a young team. These inconsistencies we're going to see. And can we make the playoffs? Yes.
Mais oui.
Are we going to make the playoffs?
We don't know. Je ne sais pas.
But we'll talk about the numbers later on. So let's get into something that you're going to love. And I got a good one for you.
I can't wait for today's, aujourd'hui, Habs Trivia.
Habs Trivia. We're going to do Habs Trivia. Vinny Houdin, get your pen and pencil out here. This is a good one. Okay.
No Googling.
Habs have had many superstar players over the years. We know that, and we've seen them. That's not the trivia question. That's not the trivia question.
Yes.
That's not me. Multiple guess. But only one of them became the very first coach of the newly formed Quebec Nordiques when they first came into the professional hockey world in the WHA. And that was in 1972.
No. So I guess the Nordiques were one of the original teams in the WHA.
Yes, they were.
Okay.
And they had a coach. And that coach was someone from the Montreal Canadiens, that very first coach in 1972.
It's so hard to remember back then because we were so focused on the NHL. And the WHA was just like,
it was a fledgling league trying to get going. And plus, we're old.
Okay.
That was like 52 years ago.
Yeah, but we were young then.
Yeah, we were young.
And so we could remember things back then.
So my question to you is, who was that player? And I'm going to give you 4 choices.
Excellent. I love the choices.
Hector Toe Blake.
I can't think Toe Blake was even thinking of coaching at that point.
Claude Provo.
Claude Provo, who we've discussed many times.
He's not in the Hall of Fame. We want him to get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we should do that petition to get Claude Provo in the
Hall of Fame. We're going to send it to Toronto, to Bettman. J.C. Tremblay.
J.C. Tremblay. Now, is he in the Hockey Hall of Fame?
Oh, boy, he should be if he isn't.
Yeah, we got to check that one, too. Both of those guys may...
Come on, by the G's.
Yeah. For sure.
This guy. And the last choice here. So we have Hector Toe Blake,
J.C. Tremblay,
Claude Provo, and the last one, Maurice the Rocket Richard.
Well, there's no way the Rocket's going to be the coach of Quebec Nordiques at that point.
So, what do you think out there? We got 4 choices. Who was the first coach of the newly formed Quebec Nordiques? He was a Montreal player and a superstar. Who was he? The team came into the WHA in 1972 with such luminary teams as the Cleveland Crusaders and the Alberta Oilers.
Now, did Cleveland draft Derek?
No, I think that was the Atlanta team. He got first $1 million contract
Wasn't
in professional
Cleveland,
sports. I don't think so.
Okay, and was the Winnipeg team in that original lineup of WHA teams?
It probably was.
I think the Jets were, because
Jets were.
Bobby would have went right away to Winnipeg.
Right, and
correct?
I think Sanderson went to the Atlanta. It could have been the Atlanta Flames, but there was another Atlanta team. The Atlanta. I think that's where he went. I don't know.
Okay.
Vinny, who don't correct us, you
Something
always,
to think about. Anyway.
You always look it up. We'll look it up. But anyway, they're the team. Hector Tobley, Claude Provo, JC Tremblay, and Maurice the Rocket Richard.
All great names, first of all.
All great names.
All great names.
Big names in Montreal. Superstars in Montreal.
I mean, Toe Blake and the Rocket, I think they both had bars on St. Catherine Street at one time,
True
like
enough.
in the 50s,
True
60s,
enough.
you know?
True enough.
I got to believe they would have been behind the bar, Toe and the Rocket. They would not be coaching them behind the bench.
Okay.
So I'm putting them behind the bar rather than behind the bench.
I'd rather be there.
And then, and it was nice because the bar opened up pretty early in Quebec back in the day.
Quebec was the most lenient province for a lot of things.
Say we. And
that's why they're fun people.
Exactly. So it's either Claude Provo or JC Tremblay. And I don't see Claude Provo really coaching. I do see JC Tremblay, though, being a real student of the game and being the coach.
Okay, so John picked. Jean-Louis Filion picked JC Tremblay.
Which I guess is Jean-Claude Tremblay.
Jean-Claude Tremblay, that's right.
Say we?
JC, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the correct answer is number 4, the Rocket.
Number 4?
The Rocket.
No, he's number 5.
He was number 9.
He's number 9.
But
number 4, really? The Rocket was the coach.
Yep.
Wow.
As crazy as that may seem, on July 20th, 1972, the Quebec Nordique management recruited the most famous Canadian of all time, Maurice the Rocket Richard, to take over the newly formed team that entered the WHA. And that's right, Quebec first entered the world of professional hockey in the newly formed WHA. Quebec City is where they played, I believe, the Coliseum. Is that where it was?
For sure. The
Coliseum.
Yep.
So
I got to the Coliseum once.
How was it?
It was excellent. I came into Quebec to check out a few retail stores, some Sam the Record Man, Les Disques stores. And I phoned up my cousin, Maurice Grillo, who has the hookup with the Habs. And I said, Maurice, I'm going to be in Quebec City. I said, what are you doing tonight? He goes, I don't know. I said, maybe we could go see a hockey game. He goes, Johnny, you want to go see a game?
Certainement.
I go, yes, I do. He goes, then we're going to go. And so he came to Quebec and he met me there. He had 2 tickets. We watched the game. And sure enough, the usherette who served us was another cousin.
Celine Dion.
Another one of my cousins.
Oh.
So it was fabulous.
Did you get it on the cuff?
Qu'est-ce que c'est on the cuff?
Free.
Oh, well, Maurice, he took care of everything.
All right. There you go.
I mean, it was
that's what I call her cousin, right?
The best. So Sandra, Sandra Filion, my cousin, she was an usherette at Le Coliseum.
There you go. Pretty cool story. So, looking to add some legitimacy to their league, they recruited the Rocket, who lasted 2 games.
That's why I couldn't remember him coaching. He only coached for 2 games.
And resigned, saying that coaching was not his thing.
I'm sure.
His first start as a coach was on the road against the Cleveland Crusaders, which ended up being a 2-0 loss.
So right away, he's 0-1. He's 0-1.
Yeah. And after the loss, he handed his resignation to Marius Fortier, one of the 6 owners of the team, who convinced him to stay for another game while he found a replacement for Richard. Richard stayed and won the game 6-0 against the Alberta Oilers.
So the Edmonton Oilers were called the Alberta Oilers.
That's right.
Nice.
And then he called it quits.
C'est fini.
Shaking at times behind the bench, Richard told Fortier, "It's that simple. I'll die behind the bench, and I love life too much to do that."
Wow.
He did not take the stress of being a coach in the NHL very well.
I'm sure it would be frustrating to try to, even now as a coach, when you know what should be done and what players should be doing on the ice. And let's face it, we're all human beings. We make mistakes.
Well, especially Rocket, because I could see him standing behind that bench and grabbing a stick and jumping on the ice in his shoes and going out there. He wanted to play.
I could see Rocket taking that stick and hitting somebody over the head because they weren't playing the right way.
Yeah, he didn't. Rocket didn't look to me like a guy who would be a good coach. He looked more like a guy who wanted to be out there in the action, smashing around and doing it. You know, like those that can do, those who can teach.
I think as well he would be demanding you to play your best and do things that he expected you to do.
Well, he wouldn't accept anything but the best in winning. You know, I mean, this is what he did on the ice.
That's exactly, and that's what started off he was such a big part of that winning attitude of the Montreal Canadiens.
He really was. So he left with a 1-1 record under his belt.
That's not so bad.
In that October 14, 1972.
That's better. That's almost as good as Meatloaf.
There you go. Yeah. In 72, a game against the Oilers, La Presse reported that during the game, Richard was nervous, shaking occasionally like a leaf. Although the Rocket was arguably one of the greatest players that ever lived and looked more at home on the ice than on the street, the pressure of coaching was just too much for him. He probably was biting at the bit, like I said, to jump on the ice and play the game more than watch it from the sidelines.
Oh, for sure. And you know, I mean, again, it's that level of frustration of seeing things that you think should be taking place, you know, and just the matter of somebody having a puck in front of the net and taking a shot and it, like, you know, going right into the, you know, the gut of the goaltender, and it's like, why didn't you shoot it somewhere else, like the empty space, you know?
Yeah, he would have.
He'd be a hard guy to have as a coach, for sure.
He would be, because he didn't have the demeanor, I don't think, neither.
Jean Beliveau. He'd be a taskmaster.
Yeah, Jean Beliveau, you could see it. He was more of a calm, gentle guy who could probably work with people in that.
Look at MSL. He's a perfect example.
Yeah.
You know?
And then you get a guy like a hothead, like Patrick Roy, and guys like that. Sometimes they just can't translate their genius and their ability to the point of coaching. Like Gretzky couldn't either.
No, he wasn't fit for that.
How do you tell people, like, when you just do it naturally? Well, how do you do that? Oh, I don't know. I just do it.
Absolutely.
You know, absolutely. So pressure as a coach were too much now. Maurice Filion took over from the Rocket as coach, and Jacques Plante took over the duties for the 1973-74 season.
Unbelievable.
The Quebec Nordiques entered the NHL in 1978 when the WHA merged with the NHL, and Jacques Demers took over for the initial 1979-80 season, with Michel Bergeron taking over in 80-81. And I remember Michel Bergeron. This guy was a real crazy guy. He'd be playing the Montreal Canadiens, and he'd be behind the bench screaming. He'd be all red, and his eyes would be bugging out like his head was going to blow up. Oh, man, Montreal and Quebec had some real battles.
Well, there was a lot going on at that point as well in the province of Quebec, you know, so there was a lot of frustration with many of the inhabitants of the province about, you know, how they were being treated by the rest of Canada, the language, you know, all sorts of different things. And so the Canadiens started to be seen as kind of a corporate entity for Canada. And the Quebec Nordiques were the people's team for quite some time.
Yeah, the working team, the working man's team.
For sure.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, like today, right now, there are Quebec Nordique fans who don't like the Habs at all, and they're still loyal to the Nordique.
I think there's a little bit of fireworks, a little bit of sparks recently with the owner of the Ottawa team wanting to play some exhibition games in Quebec.
Yeah, and the NHL is looking for another team. Well, not Bettman, but people in Quebec are looking for another NHL team to go there. although Bettman hasn't given it the nod. Now, the last coach of the Nordique before they moved to Colorado.
I think Gary's waiting until Canada becomes a 51st state.
Well, I think Gary is going to be out of here, and I can't be happier.
No, neither can anyone. I'm sure everyone will be applauding Monsieur Bettman leaving the NHL.
The only time they'll applaud him was when he leaves, because they boo him every other time, even giving out the Stanley Cup. The last coach of the Nordique before they moved to Colorado was Mark Crawford, and he was the coach in Colorado as well. And then they went on to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they got out of Quebec, they went to Colorado and won a cup, right?
I think it was 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, but it was very quick.
Real quick, and of course, the Eric Lindros situation, made Eric, he's such a jerk. He wouldn't play for the Nordique. He wanted to play somewhere else. They got him to Philadelphia.
His loss.
Yeah, his loss, because when they moved the team, they won the cup right away. And they got Patrick Roy through that Tremblay deal and everything else.
I think Lindros could have been. Lindros had a distinct possibility of being in that hierarchy of Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky.
Oh yeah,
and sadly now he's never going to be considered as such.
No, he's a footnote because of all this, and it wasn't even his fault. Though it was his father that did most of it. But regardless, he could have won a Stanley Cup in his first or second year in the league.
May we?
All he had to do was sign, and you know what?
Sign on the dotted line.
Hindsight is 20/20, my friends. After that, the Rocket resumed his role as an ambassador for Canadians,
which makes sense. I mean, that's what's so troubling about it is the fact that his overall legacy. Thank God it was only 2 games. He knew right away, Quebec is not for me. I should be with the Habs.
And of course, we lost our beloved Maurice the Rocket Richard on May 20th, 2000, at the age of 78. Now, here's a side note, because you were very close on your answer of J.C. Tremblay.
Okay.
Who was on the bench helping the Rocket handle the team?
J.C.
None other than the Habs star defenseman J.C. Tremblay, who managed the line changes and team strategy for the Rocket.
Yeah, I was pretty sure he had worked with the Nordiques.
You were right on the money, and to think he would be coach makes perfect sense. But unbelievable as it may seem, it was the Rocket.
Amazing.
Can you imagine if he had stuck it out like he didn't have and became successful? That would have been something to see him.
Would have been amazing. Would have been an amazing story. I mean, a guy who had basically brought the Canadians, I don't know how many Stanley Cups, battled for them consistently, and then would come back and lead, say, a Nordique team to a championship in another league.
Yeah, had the 50 goals in 50 games. I mean,
would have been phenomenal. Would have been phenomenal.
Everybody's hero, and there he is behind the bench. Like, that would have been great. Okay, so let's see. I don't know if you guys got that, but that was a pretty good one.
Excellent.
That was an excellent one. Some video comments. We had a lot of comments since Drew Deek was in the studio. Here's a few of them. Vince Hudo, my trivia answer is Saku Koivu. And yes, Vince, you were absolutely right. He was fabulous as the captain for 10 years there. I'm not keeping count, but I think you only missed about one of the trivia answers that we've asked, Vinny. Congratulations.
Yeah, I think his girlfriend got it.
Yeah, his girlfriend got it. You know the Habs, Vinny. You know the Habs. He also says, hey, guys, Stéphane Richer wore number 22. You got to double those numbers, my friends, to 44, unless he wore that number in his rookie year. And he did. He wore it in 1985. That's right. And then he went to 44.
Double.
So Hudo, you were right. But I was right, too, because he did wear number 22.
C'est bon.
That's it. And we asked, why were we talking about that? Because I had my Absolutely shirt on.
You had your shirt.
And I had number 22, and we were
2022.
wondering, why did I pick number 22? And it was because that's the year that Absolutely started bringing this great show to you. And on the way, subscribe. If you're looking at this channel, hit that subscribe button. Get notifications. It costs you nothing, and you know when I post a video. And then thumbs up, thumbs down, comments, all the good stuff that goes along with the
all the organic things.
All the organic things. And Vince Hudo also wanted to comment on Gooley getting a lacerated quad muscle is a major loss for the Habs. Surgery was successful. So I wonder how much time he'll need to heal well the rest of the season. Struble is back from Laval. We have an experienced D to replace him. So yeah, Struble's played a few games, so that's good to have him. I guess they'll have Wi-Fi play more minutes now. And my answer to Vinny is, and you can comment on this after, John.
Okay.
Well, Vinny, I would hope to have start bringing up future stars like Mayu and let him have some game with time with the big club. That would make the most sense at this point. Struble will not be part of the Habs that wins the Stanley Cup. I can guarantee that. Right or wrong?
C'est possible. So it's a distinct possibility. I mean, Struble is, he's kind of caught in a bit of a rut because he's just not getting enough time to really develop. I really think something has got to happen. And if we want to get into it right now, the fact that are the Habs playoff bound or not, and that will probably have something to do with what takes place before the trade deadline.
Yeah, and that's March, what, 1st? I think it's March 1st, something like that.
It's creeping up.
It's creeping up. 3 weeks away. And, I think we have, like, players that are coming up that are a little bit better than Struble. One, Reinbacher.
Yeah, I mean, we're waiting to see what Reinbacher even does as far as playing in North America.
Yeah.
Because he really hasn't had a shot in playing very many games here.
And Mayu.
Logan Mailloux is now with the team, but again, what's important? I mean, Logan Mailloux played extremely well for the last the first half of the season in the AHL. But we need Mailloux to continue to get ice time, and develop.
Yeah, he's not doing us any good sitting in the press box.
Absolutely.
If I had to bank the future of the Habs on somebody between Struble and Mailloux, I would say Mailloux, and that's why I think Mailloux should be playing.
I think a lot of people would agree that Mailloux, they want to see Mailloux be successful, and they think he has probably a higher ceiling than Struble.
Agreed. And Carrier's been a great find. I mean, I love him.
Carrier is a mainstay now of our defensive core. He's very important to the team at this point.
That's right. So, I mean, I think we can just,
especially with an injury to Gouli.
Yeah, and you're right about what the team thinks they're going to be. Are they going to be buyers, or are they going to be sellers? Because if they're going to be buyers to try to make the playoffs, then that's a whole different story of who you want on the ice. If you're going to be sellers, then it really doesn't matter. We're going to start moving Dvorak and these guys that contracts are coming up, and get what we can for them before the trade deadline, and then we can bring up guys like Mailloux and that, because it really doesn't matter if we're not anticipating making the playoffs. Personally, I'm happy. We're close. We'll talk about the numbers later on. So I don't think I'm hoping that they don't give up on the season yet.
No, and I don't think they will. I mean, we've got 3 games now, or do we have 4 going in?
3
to the break.
Well, we
have 2 Saturday, Sunday. We have 1 tonight.
Yeah, and then I don't even know when this tournament starts.
So I think we have 3 more games left before the tournament starts.
Yeah, it could be.
So in that respect, I think after these 3 games and a couple of weeks of some time off and thinking strategy, we'll know exactly what the team is going to try to do when they come back.
Agreed. So that's that, and we'll just see what's going on. I mean, we know we've got a lot of players coming up over the summer and next year. We have a lot of draft picks as well. So, but see, there's only one reason I really want to make the playoffs.
And what is that?
Well, because I know we're probably not going to go real far. Once you get in, anything can happen. But we might not go far, and that's fine. But I just want most of the team to get a taste of the playoffs, to be in that situation where they're fighting to win a series. Just that, Caulfield's been there, Suzuki's been there. We do have people who've been there. Savard, he won a Stanley Cup with the Tampa Bay. But just for these young guys to get in there and feel the excitement of a Stanley Cup playoff and know what it's all about and what you have to do to win these games, it's so important, and
it's also
that's why I'd like to see.
It's like an indicator too of the team actually moving forward.
Exactly,
and
exactly.
So that's important as well. And the fans obviously are expecting this team to make some major moves over the next 5 years. to achieve monumental success, i.e., to win the Stanley Cup.
The drive for 25.
And so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and you never know. I mean, we could say, oh, well, we're not going to get first. These guys might show up, and they just be so excited about playing. They don't know any better. They might just win a few series. So that's what we hope.
Like you said, anything can happen. If you're not in it, you can't win it.
Yeah, you got to be in it to win it. That's right. Okay, we're going to talk more about that later, but let's get to the games themselves. And we lost to the Wild 4-0. Marc-Andre Fleury comes into town. He always kills us, this guy. I've seen it a million times. And he wins 4-0. A big deal. It's last game ever to be played in Habs land. Knuckles Nyland said he felt like going out and giving him a punch in the head rather than congratulating.
Is he part of Trump's cabinet?
I put a tariff on him. But congratulations to him. I mean, he's been a great goaltender. He's 40 years old, and he shut us out 4-0, which is...
And he made some really great saves.
Oh, he's still good, man. As a matter of fact, a couple of years ago, we were thinking of maybe getting a hold of him and throwing him in there when we were going to get rid of Jake Allen. And you know what? That might not have been that bad of a deal.
And not only that, what a reception for Marc-Andre.
Yeah, everybody loves him. He's a guy that everybody loved. When he was in Vegas, they loved him. He was like the toast of the town. They loved him in Minnesota. They loved him in Pittsburgh. I mean, this guy he
never played in Montreal, and they love him in Montreal,
Montreal. Yeah,
come on.
Classy fans.
Well,
we appreciate good talent. And
the fans appreciate hockey.
That's right.
They have the big love for hockey, the best. It's in their heart.
So we lose this game. 40-year-old guy shutting us out.
Yeah, I mean, we lost 3-0, really,
We had 19 shots on him. I mean, could we have made it any easier for him?
We didn't give him the hardest time. That's for sure.
No, he stopped the ones he had to. It was pretty well a display of nothingness. What did you say? We won the first period, maybe, and then that was it?
I don't even think we did that. Dobas, I actually thought Dobas played a pretty good game. I like his style. I really enjoy watching Dobas play hockey. I think his technique and style. I'm really impressed by.
You're like thinking he's like Price-like.
Very much so.
There you go. The price is wrong.
Very much so.
The price was wrong in that game.
I really think.
But I love him.
I think he's gonna he has a great opportunity for a major career.
Oh yeah. And you know what? You can't get down on the guy because he's not going to win every game he plays. I mean, the expectation is that he goes out there and wins every game. Well, that's not going to happen, you dinglings. I know you love your team in that, but the guy's not going to win every game, and the Habs aren't going to win every game. So don't get too down when they lose. Don't get too up. I mean, look at the young team. They're not consistent. We're going to see this kind of thing, right? But I think that was his first loss in Montreal, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Was it the first loss in Montreal? I mean, Habs dominated the faceoff circle that game. And if there's one thing we can say, we're getting better in the faceoff circle, which is a good thing. So there are some good stuff that came out of that game other than the score 4-0. I thought we'd do better. I thought we'd at least take them into overtime, So I was a little bit disappointed in that one. But you know what? It is what it is. We're not going to win every game. And Minnesota's not a bad team. They're not a bunch of bums neither. We got to remember.
No, they have a great team.
Yeah, they got a good team. So we got over that, and then we hop on a plane because we were at home for that game. And that's even worse when we lose like that at home. But we hop on a plane and we head to visit the Ducks in Anaheim. A team that actually has a worse record than the Habs. And so I expected I was going like this. Oh, yeah, we're going to have a nice win here. Nice. Here we go. We lost one. We're going to come back. And once again, we get outplayed. The Ducks rallied back from a 2-0 Habs lead and scored a late game goal as the Ducks rallied to beat the Habs. 2 goals in 40 seconds tied the game in the second. Sammy had only 22 shots and ended the game with an .864. Laine was benched in the third for his lazy play, and the first line was invisible most of the game. Doc was also sitting the bench. Dvorak and Armia scored for the Habs. At least somebody did.
I mean, we had a great first period, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could have played the second and third period like we played the first, we would have won the game.
Well, you know what? We got to get the text of somebody that sits by the bench and he can remind them the game's 60 minutes.
For sure. I mean,
they forgot. Did they forget? I don't know.
Armina, I think Armina's goal was shorthanded as well.
I think so. Yeah,
he's
good at that.
He's playing, and
it was not last night. It was shorthanded, I think, too.
And Dvorak's was a power play goal.
So there you go.
So I mean, special teams.
Where's our first lines?
Special teams.
First line, second line.
Well, second line was not showing up,
and they a lot of people were really mad that they benched Laine.
Why? Pourquoi?
Well, because it was a close game, and at the end of the game, to just see if we can tie it up and pick up a point, Laine may have come in handy. That's what everybody was saying, but I mean, the guy's a slouch. Let's face it. He's just going right back to his old stuff, and I don't know if it's a mental thing or whatever he does. I don't know. There's something not right with this guy, and St. Louis just said no. If you don't want to play, where you're sitting. He played like 32 seconds, one shift or something. So
it's hard to comment because I have no concept of what's going on there.
Yeah, well, everybody was saying like, he was a slacker. So, and they're saying, St. Louis, you should have let him on because, you take him out of the game for most of the third period. At the end of the game, we need a goal to grab some points to make the playoffs. It would have been nice to have a guy who can put the puck in the net on the ice. So, I mean, that last, 4 minutes, he could have played him, even though he was trying to send a message. I think he did.
I think MSL probably sat him out because he wasn't going to put the puck in the net.
Well, that's my take on it. The guy hasn't done nothing. When's the last time he scored?
MSL's the coach. He's there. He's seen that team more than anybody. He's living with that team. So, as long as he's your coach, you have to respect his decisions.
And he hasn't scored in, I don't know, last time he scored 6 games ago or something, my knee. So, I mean,
And production's one thing, but it's effort is another. And we'll talk about that a little later as well. It's like, guys are making mistakes. Some guys are making mistakes, and then they're recovering for what they do. And that's what's important. And so I think MSL sees that, of course, and he's probably not seen that with Patrick Laine.
Well, the problem is here, and we've seen it with a lot of players. If you're not going to contribute offensively, and you're supposed to at least play a good defensive game, this guy's doing neither.
Yeah, it's a two-way game.
Yeah, so he's not contributing at anywhere on the ice, whether it's in the defensive zone or the offensive zone. So. Like you said, John, I agree 100%. Was he going to score anyway? Probably not.
I think that second line needed a bit of a shakeup.
They need a bit of a shakeup.
And I think they played a lot better in the next game.
Last night, I think you saw the shakeup. Laine was on the fourth line.
But the second line played a lot better.
Well, didn't they get a couple goals here?
I believe they did.
Yeah, Armia hammered the shorty home, 4 minutes to go, and the Habs hung on for the win. Starting at 10:30, I managed the day, and we tied with that. Going in the third, we're tied. The Habs took the lead on Gallagher goal. The Sharks came back with a power play goal from ex-Hab player Toffoli. But Armia hammered home a shorty with 4 minutes to go, and the Habs hung on for the win. So
and the Newhook got a goal in that game as well.
Yeah. So I mean, was that a power play goal?
I don't.
No, it was Gallagher. I think who got the power play goal. He's parked in front. But I mean, you know what? Yeah, Laine had nothing to do with that game either, and he's on the fourth line. I mean, you got to wonder how long this guy is before he's gonna take another sabbatical.
And being on that fourth line, Patrick Laine got his minutes.
Yeah,
he played as many minutes as Kirby Dach, and
he contributed.
I didn't really see him.
Yeah, me neither. I was half asleep
on that game.
So, I mean, I can't hammer Marty St. Louis for this. I mean, he's got to send a message to all the players. Like, if you're going to perform, you got to get out there and do something.
And not only that,
you can't polish the boards.
If Patrick is going through some tough times, I think MSL is just responding to that maybe as well. If somebody is struggling, that might be the wisest thing to do for them at that point. So I think we all have to be very respectful of this situation because none of us are in it.
Yeah, we're just going to get 2 weeks off.
Yes,
which is good.
yes, he is.
Which is good. So maybe that he can get his act back together.
Maybe
because
a change will do him good.
But the thing is what makes me sad is that the guy has so much talent. He's got the best shot. I mean, he's unbelievable. And if he could just get his act together, this guy is a game changer. We know he is. We've seen it.
And those are the struggles that we go through with everyone. It's like, we sit here and we talk about the Rocket. I mean, being a coach and being frustrated with the play of particular players at certain points. And he, like, Rocket lasted 2 games. I mean, Patrick Laine has played maybe half the games that the Montreal Canadiens have played, and he's 5th overall in scoring on power play.
Yeah.
So he has contributed to this team.
Yeah, and he's got a shot that's a game breaker.
It's all of us. We know what you break your arm. Well, you can't play. You break your ankle. Well, you can't play. You have mental health issues. Maybe you can't play. I mean, that's the difficulty for us here, is understanding and comprehending his struggle, because mental health is it's a very new subject in even the field of sports.
Yeah, well, they should take that into consideration with us. Mental health struggles. Because every time I watch him play, sometimes I have mental health issues.
Well, the Rocket had some as well, obviously, when he was watching the Nordiques play. Yeah. So there we go.
But
but on a bright note, we won last night.
We did win, and I love it. That was the one that saved the reverse meatloaf.
And what really impressed me last night were the first 2 goals of the game. And that was all about puck movement. So I think it was San Jose who opened the scoring, and 5 players touched the puck before it went past Montembeault. And very impressive goal.
Yeah.
And the Canadiens followed up with the same type of a goal with Cole Caulfield in the second. And that's what it's all about, I think. And that's what Marty is looking for. Marty is trying to inspire this team to not keep the puck long and constantly be moving that puck. The puck is in flux. And that is a challenging thing for another team to defend. So if you have puck possession, and then you also employ puck movement, retaining possession, now you've got people chasing the puck, basically. And we talk about tracking the puck. You'll hear announcers once in a while say, oh, this goaltender is great at tracking the puck, and of course that's just knowing where the puck is. And the more puck movement, the more tracking you have to do, and the harder it is to do that, and that can lead to losing where the puck is and goals being scored.
Yep, or penalties being taken.
And if you have your special teams are your PK is firing and your PP is working really well.
Well, my PP is working fine.
And you get you have an opportunity to go on the power play and score because you're being successful. Then it leads to you winning games.
Yeah, and that's the one good thing about the Habs. Their PK has really stepped up. They've got a good percentage in the PK. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's up in the 80s.
Well, and goals scored on the PK, they must be close to leading the league in that respect.
Goals.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
special
teams.
So not only do we kill the penalty, but we also take advantage of the PK and actually score during the PK.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, so there's a lot of break points.
So I was really impressed with that. I enjoyed the fact that San Jose have a pretty young team, I think, as well.
Yep.
And I think we'll see more of San Jose over the next 5 years.
Yeah, they've been getting some good picks. Celebrini is on that team. He got the first goal.
And a guy named Will Smith.
And a guy named Will Smith.
Do I remember that name from somewhere?
Well, yeah, we were looking to take him at some point.
He's in a movie called Independence Day, I think, right?
That's not the same
Will
Smith.
It's a different guy, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, this guy is a good hockey player. Will Smith.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't throw a punch; he throws the puck at the net. Will Smith. Yeah. And anyway, but this Will Smith was in Boston, I think, with Laine Hudson, wasn't he?
I think he was. I think Montreal was looking at
They
him
were
closely.
actually looking at drafting him a couple of years ago.
That's right. They had a shot at him, I believe. I think. I think. So.
I think it was
Well,
the
San Jose-
Slavkowski. It was the Slavkowski draft.
Yeah, that's when we had the fifth. Was it? Yeah, it could have been the Slavkowski.
That was the
year.
Slav year.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was fifth when we took Reinbecker because there's so many Leonard and all these guys. There's so many good prospects.
Or it could have been the Reinbacher year. You're right. It could have been
the Reinbacher year.
Yeah.
We took Reinbacher fifth, and Will Smith went to the Sharks. They had a pick before us.
I think so.
That could have been right. I don't know. You know who will know?
Drew Deeks.
Drew Deeks, I don't know.
And Drew Deeks, I think he's listening today. So, Drew, if you know, text us now.
Text us now. While the sale's still on.
Send us a letter, right?
Yeah.
Come on,
My baby just sent me a letter.
Exactly.
Give me a ticket for an airplane.
So, overall, puck movement, so important, so impressive last night, that first period.
Yeah, it was a good game. I wish I would have saw the third period. I missed it. I couldn't watch the highlights.
Newhook was amazing. I
love that guy.
He's playing really well. I think what MSL did, shaking up that second line, definitely stirred up Alex Newhook.
Yeah.
Slab played a great game as well, screening the goaltender constantly. CC contributed the goal that we expect from him.
Yeah,
on a
power play.
And we expect CC to show up for us at least once every game in a big way. A guy named Owen Beck hit a post.
Yes, I saw that. I heard that.
That was a beauty shot.
Yeah, and he's starting to get his game on the Montreal Canadiens right now. He's trying to find his game, and he's starting to find it. Every game he's a little bit better.
Well, again, they gave Owen Beck got over 10 minutes last night.
There you go.
That's important.
And he's going to be a big part of the future, Owen Beck, believe me.
Well, when he comes up and starts playing like that with minutes, that makes sense.
That's right.
Susie hit a post as well. Armia scored in the third period. Armia had a great, of those 3 games, Armia was one of our highlights, without a doubt. And Monty made 2 amazing saves in the third period. It was a sequence where he kicked out the toe and stopped a puck point blank. The rebound went right back to the same, I think it was Celebrini, and Monty stuck out his glove and stole the puck before it went behind him and hit the twine.
And they are called timely saves.
So it was an excellent sequence.
Yeah, excellent.
I was very impressed by that.
Anything else about that game you want to talk about? Stats.
What that game kind of leads. Yeah, let's do the stats of the game.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, Habs are 25-23-5 after 53 games. We are now 5 points behind Tampa for the last wildcard spot and 7 points behind Ottawa, who's been playing fantastic hockey, by the way. And they've managed to climb in the 3rd spot in our division. Time is wasting away. There's only 29 games left. The points are getting harder and harder to get as we move towards the March trade deadline. I hate to be pessimistic, but the Habs have to win at about a 70% clip right now, which will bring us to 95 points. The pace Ottawa is setting right now. That's where Ottawa is going to end up if they keep playing the same hockey. Now, that might get us into a playoff spot. So, Habs have their work cut out for them. There you go. That's the stats.
There you go. And what I also liked over the last 3 games, and especially the last game, is that both Gallagher and Monty made some mistakes. Gallagher made a mistake and gave up the puck, which led to one of the goals. And Monty looked like there were 1 or 2 goals that he could have stopped. But when he comes back and he redeemed himself on that sequence against Celebrini, Gallagher came back and he scored a goal.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's what MSL is looking for. That's the type of play that will lead to us winning games. Is we're going to make mistakes, but then what are you going to do about it? Okay? How can you overturn your mistake? By actually contributing in a positive way with points.
Yeah, you love players like that who they make a mistake, they know it, they hang their head, but then they're determined to go out there and fix it.
And that's the thing. They hang their head and then they lift their head.
Yep.
And that is the key, is to play in the moment, don't sulk, go out and make things happen.
Yeah,
You make your own success.
They don't hang their head in defeat. They hang their head in determination. Okay,
Yeah.
I made the mistake. I'm going to fix it.
Exactly. Acknowledgement of knowing that they did something that they shouldn't do. I saw Armia do it as well. I think it was that last night, but somebody was in the corner, came out, and a deflection came off the stick. Armia let up, checking this opponent for maybe like 5 seconds, and those 5 seconds contributed to a deflection that went past Monty. And Armia, if you were watching him specifically, you saw him shake his head and get mad at himself. And then Armia came out and he played a great game.
Yeah,
and contributed to the winning goal in the third period.
You can't ask for more than that.
Absolutely, that's a fabulous way to play hockey.
It absolutely is.
Okay,
and now we got important games going forward. We still have some important games. One of them comes up on.
They're all important games.
They're all important, but these ones are more important.
Well, we have a game on.
More important. The Tampa Bay. We play Tampa after this weekend. We play Tampa, and that's a big game.
After this weekend.
Yeah, I think do we play Tampa on this weekend?
We're not going to.
We're playing back to back.
Let's have a look.
We're playing back to back Saturday, Sunday. Then we play one on Tuesday, or is it Wednesday?
Today we play LA.
Yeah, we play LA.
Okay.
Then we come home and we play Tampa, and
then we play.
I got it right here. What am I stupid?
And then we play. Don't you want me to answer that last question? And then we play
that's not the trivia question, John.
we play New Jersey and Tampa Bay on Super Bowl weekend.
And those two games are big games because they're in our conference, they're in our division.
Plus they're in our barn.
They're in our barn. So we play Tampa. So we have Boston for one more game, Tampa for one more game. That's going to be the last Tampa game we play. Ottawa for 3 more.
Those we talked about last week.
Now we're 7 behind Ottawa in third place.
12
3
points,
games.
12-point swing.
12-point swing. So there you go. They're right there. We can get that.
That's the 12-point swing to make the playoffs.
And Detroit, we've got 1 game against, and Philly we have 2 against. So those are other important games. I mean, every game's important now. Let's face it, we got 29 left. But there's some games that are 4-point games that are against teams we're battling for
within division, for sure. For the wild card.
So they're the ones. They're the ones.
So tonight we play LA.
Yep. Who do you think's going to win that one?
I believe we're going to start Dobis. Hasn't been confirmed yet. I'll check again.
Dobish.
And, I mean, we really have they're only 5 points ahead of us.
Who? Kings?
The Kings.
Yeah, well, they're not that great.
We should be able to beat the LA Kings tonight.
Okay.
There's no reason, especially because we broke the losing streak last night.
Okay.
Right?
And Dobish will get a win on the road.
Everybody should be up for that.
Devils?
So the Devils, they have a better, they're 10 points probably above us right now. But we're playing at home on a Saturday afternoon.
Get out the popcorn.
Get out the hot. Les saucisses en deux. Come on now, let's go. Like we're in. If you're at the Bell Center and you're not eating a hot dog on Saturday afternoon at 1:00, watching the Montreal Canadiens play the New Jersey Devils,
what's the matter with you?
Exactly.
Well, the Devils. I think it's going to be an overtime game. I think we're going to go into overtime and then. It's a toss-up. You know what? I'd love to go into overtime because we don't have to travel the next day. No, we're at home. That's right. So we just got to go to Picasso's for a nice dinner and go home, and then get up the next day and be at the rink at 10. There you go. Who do you think gets the start? I'm playing Monty on Saturday, and I'm playing Dobis on Sunday. Okay, now. A win against New Jersey. Do you think we're going to be able to pull that one off? Absolutely. Again, we're playing at home. I think we can win all 3 games. Okay. We just lost. We just were on a losing streak, and we lost 4 games in a row? 4 or 5, yeah. Okay. So now it's time to go. I get up, I get down. Now it's time to get back up and go on a winning streak of 4 games before we go to the break.
So that's what I want to see. I want to see a winning streak of 4 games before we go into the break.
Have you got that? You got that? You have fans?
Okay, have you got that? Like, Susie, are you listening? Cece, did you hear me?
Want these
Slab,
wins.
what's going on?
4 wins.
Owen, come on, Owen. Yeah, I know we want this for you.
Yeah, this is for you.
This is for you, Owen.
Come on, yeah. I mean, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, go into this 2-week break on a winning note, and then have a nice rest.
Yeah, into
go to Jamaica, enjoy the beach.
No, I don't.
That's where they're going.
Stay in Montreal.
I said, no, well, they're going to go to Jamaica.
Yeah.
And then
Aruba?
Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego. Yeah, we want to win. That's all I'm asking.
I want 3 wins.
We want 3 wins. I don't care what they say. Okay, le 3 de la semaine dernière.
I'm just going to check real quick.
Okay,
refresh. And they've still not confirmed goaltenders.
Okay.
From what I see.
Le 3 de la semaine dernière.
First of all, a little bit of news.
Okay.
So, Owen Beck is now with the team, it seems. He is now
officially an apartment in Montreal.
I think he's been living there because he's been playing with Laval. But I think he is officially with the Montreal Canadiens. He's not going back.
I'm happy.
He's not going back to Laval. From what that's the word on the street, and he's kind of taken Pez's place.
That makes me happy.
But he played over 10 minutes, I believe, last night.
That's good.
He's got to play. He's got to have that many minutes at least.
That's 7 more than
at least than Pez would have tracked. So he's got to play at least that much time. Demidov just set a record in the KHL. Did you know that?
He got a hat trick. I know that.
He set a record for having the most points in the KHL by an under 20 player.
Wow. Think what he's going to do in the NHL.
He's already setting records, and he hasn't even gotten to North America yet.
I saw the 1 goal he got. It was like ridiculous.
So it's fabulous. I mean, that's great news.
It's fabulous.
Great news for us.
It's
right?
fabulous.
Yeah. And
what number is he going to be?
I don't know. Haig is continuing to develop, which is great.
Yeah, him and Fowler are just doing fantastic.
So that's excellent.
Oh my goodness.
So the team is looking really good. 3 stars.
Le troisième étoile. I'll tell you mine right now.
Okay, let's hear yours.
And then you look up yours.
Sure.
Are we buyers or sellers at this point? That's my star question. So I don't have any stars. I just really didn't want to give accolades to anybody this week. It wasn't that great of a week. But I'm just asking the question, are we buyers or sellers? We're going to find out probably by the end of this weekend if we're buyers or sellers. I don't know. I think if we have a great 3 games, like you said, John, we're going to be buyers maybe. Hughes is always looking. He's got everything on the books. If we don't have a good 3 games, we're going to be sellers. And you know what? Hughes even said it himself. We'll decide when we see what the team does. So if you guys win these 3 games, I would say we're going to take a real serious run at it, and Hughes is going to give us some help. If we don't, then he's going to start looking to be a seller and start moving some of the players that are expendable.
So for me, I would say that my 3rd star, le troisième étoile, would be Brendan Gallagher and Samuel Montembeault.
Well,
and that's because of the way they executed last night. They knew they had played poorly on certain occasions, and they came back, they put it behind them, and they made some magnificent contributions for us to win last night's game.
When you look at Gallagher, he's right in his office in front of that net. That's how he got the goal. I mean, this guy never gives up. He's just unbelievable, really. Brendan Gallagher, they say, well, he's getting paid $6 million and blah. You know what? Man, oh man, this kid, he earns it. He's out on the ice skating. He never gives up. He's like a Tasmanian devil out there. And he's, I don't know. I think he earns his pay. I really do.
I'm just impressed by their attitude. And that's the attitude that MSL wants to instill within that entire team. This is part of the culture of building a team that is going to come and go through this rebuild and at one point bring home a Stanley Cup to La Ville de Montréal.
Let me ask you a question.
For sure.
Which one of these young guys does not respect Brendan Gallagher?
I don't think there would be one.
There wouldn't be one.
Because if they didn't, they'd be in big trouble, because I think he could probably take them all. Maybe not Jack Eye, but everybody else I think he could handle.
But it just goes to show you that sometimes part of the salary isn't just about the number of points you get in that. It's your work ethic and it's your attitude. And that's a great attitude to have floating around that dressing room when you have a bunch of young guys there.
You know, Gallagher has definitely lost a step, but he's reinvented his game so that he's still playing well.
He's effective.
You know? So he's taking less steps and being maybe more effective than he might have been 3-4 years ago.
Thank you, Brendan Gallagher.
Deuxième étoile. The Deuxième étoile. The second star for this week would be Joel Armia and Alexander Newhook.
Yeah, I mean, they played great.
I mean, they both have played extremely well. They're both making very positive contributions. I mean, Armia's become a threat. Like, you know, I mean, he's generally puts the first shot on net.
Yeah, he's like a...
You know, because you know, MSL has been starting that fourth line a lot because, you know, Dvorak is the center probably who has the best face-off percentage right now. So Armia is, you know, and Evans is right there with him. But, you know, Armia is like, he's putting the puck on the net. He's scoring. You know, he's always in the mix now. He is a scoring threat.
Well, he's a bushwhacker.
You know, so that's
a bushwhacker.
You got to totally respect that. And Alexander Newhook has stepped up his game. As soon as the MSL kind of basically read the riot act of that second line, he got his ass back in business.
Yeah, well, see, Armia's the bushwhacker. He's like a bushwhacker. He sits in the weeds, and nobody pays attention to him. He's skating around. Then all of a sudden, he puts it in the net short-handed and wins the game. You know, this is a guy who's you know, he's quiet. You don't really hear a lot about him. He's on the ice, and then all of a sudden he screws you. I mean, he's a bushwhacker, and you gotta love having a guy like that.
Absolutely.
Le troisième étoile, the third star.
Now we're going to La Première étoile. We went to start with the first.
Oh, we started with the third. Now we go to the second,
first,
and then the first.
So La Première étoile, the first star for me this week is Ensemble.
Drew Deeks.
The group of Montreal Canadian fans.
Yay!
And especially the fans who were at the Bell Center applauding and respecting Marc-Andre Fleury.
Class act.
I mean, what a sincere outpouring of affection for a goaltender who has never played for L'Équipe du Canadien.
It's amazing how,
you know,
and this happens a lot. This is the way the Canadians are. They appreciate, well, people from their own province.
Now so you support your own. You continue to, you know, prop up your own. That is so important. And that is a part of this culture that MSL and Ken Hughes are trying to build within this team, is that you have each other's back. You look after each other and you support each other as as trying to win collectively a goal, which is to win the Stanley Cup.
And the Habs and their fans are the classiest fans in the NHL. They really, really are. They know how to celebrate. They know how to pay tribute to someone who's put 40. He's 40 years old. He's been in the league since he was probably 18.
He's probably been playing hockey since he was 3.
Yeah, in the province, right?
In the province.
And they've seen him grow up and be an all-star. Now he's a Hall of Famer, and he comes back at 40 years old. And you know, it's just...
I mean, you know that there are kids out there who knew about Marc-Andre Fleury before he stepped on the NHL. And at one point, they were watching him in junior hockey, and they said, you know, that's the goalie I want to be. And they followed his career, and you saw those kids. Some of them were actually at the Bell Center that night, and they were affectionately showing their love with signs to Marc-Andre Fleury.
And you know, don't think Sammy and Dobish weren't in awe of him.
Dobish has said some remarkable things about actually having spent time with Marc-Andre Fleury. In fact, that night, at the very end of the game, Dobas went and got the puck.
Yeah, and gave it to him.
And well, he wanted to give it to him, but somebody from the team asked for the puck from Dobas to give to Marc-Andre. But Dobas had made the idea, the contribution, it was already in his head. These people were already thinking about Marc-Andre Fleury.
That's respect.
Total respect
in class.
And, and understanding, like the fans of the Montreal, they demand and expect and appreciate good hockey.
They really, really do.
And that's what it's all about, is being able to go and spend an evening watching great hockey and knowing what it is.
Right here. There it is right there.
C'est très bien.
Okay, we're out of here.
Bon.
Another week gone.
C'est fini.
And next week, we'll see what this weekend brings, because this is going to really probably tell what Hughes is going to be thinking. Moving to the trade deadline.
Go Habs, go!
Come on, let's go. We got to win. We got to win. Big wins. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button. Give us a comment. Give us a thumbs down if you don't like us. We don't care. We want you to be involved. Participate.
We want you to like us, but we want to hear from you, too.
Have a good time. If you don't like us, we like you even better. So there you go. We don't care.
We want to hear from you. We want to engage with you.
We appreciate everybody.
We don't want to get engaged to you, but we want to engage with you.
And we appreciate you. Have a great day, everybody.
Ciao, ciao.
Watch the game tonight. We got 2 big ones on Super Bowl weekend. And we're out of here. My name is Paul Calamere.
Jean-Louis Filion.
And you were going to say something?
Yeah, it's okay. I was just going to say, I don't think a lot of people will be watching the Super Bowl because I think President Trump will be there.
He's going to be there. He's going to be there. I think everybody will be watching, the whole country. 90.
Even you?
I'm going to be. No, I won't watch the Super Bowl. I do not watch the Super Bowl. It's in the National Felon League, and I don't believe in that. I'm out of here. Have a great weekend. My name is Paul Calamere. John Fillion, 4680Q Radio. That's where we broadcast from. Have a great day, everybody. Absolutely. Signing off. Until next week, God bless you all. Go Habs, go.